welcome to your video lesson for the week. So today we're going to be looking at the song Nothing Else Matters by Metallica. There's a lot to take away in this song, which is one of the reasons that I like teaching it. Lots of technique things, guitar techniques, mostly happening in the intro of the song. We have some finger picking techniques, but what's obviously much cooler about it, the use of the hammer-ons and pull-offs in this. It almost has a classical guitar style feel to it. And as we go through the song, we're going to learn some different strumming techniques in this, and of course, as any great song, lots of bar chord use. But in the beginning, in the very first part, everything is played almost as if we are in an open tuning. So we're going to start by going through just the fingering that we need to play that intro part, and then we'll start working through the different chord shapes used to make up the entire song for Nothing Else Matters. So let's get started. An open tuning or an alternate tuning means we've retuned our guitar to sound like one big chord when we play all of our strings open. We're still in standard tuning for this song, but we happen to be playing in an E minor chord in the beginning. When you play your E minor, you know that we hold down the 5th and the 4th string only. In this beginning part, we're going to pluck strings 6, 3, 2, and 1. Those strings are all open when we're in our E minor chord. So therefore, even though we're playing in this E minor, you don't need to be in position or holding down those strings. On your picking hand, however, your thumb is going to be on string 6. Index finger, middle finger, and ring finger are assigned to your top 3 strings. And we're going to play an ascending, descending pattern 3 times before we have our first change. So we play string 6, 3, 2, 1, back to 2, 3, and again 6, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 6, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3. Now here on time 4, we're going to start with 6, 3, 2, 1. We are going to come back to string number 2. But at this point, your middle finger is in position on the 7th fret of the 1st string. This is our first note that is different, that's going to start our instrumental section. So as we play it on that 4th time, 6, 3, 2, 1, 2, 7th fret. We're going to re-strike that 1st string and accompany it with our 6th string. So our thumb is also going to play the low E string. And then backwards, 2, 3. At this point in the song, we have our first pull off. So we're there on the 7th fret of our high E string. We're going to play that high E string again and pull off into an open E, followed by string 2 and 3. So that entire first phrase, we're going to play that open string part 3 times. Here's 2. Right after we play that open 3rd string, following that first pull-off, we're going to play our 2nd string and 6th string together, followed by our 3rd string, and then we're back in position with the 7th fret, and this time we're moving 7th fret to 8th fret, but we are going to accompany that with the 2nd string. So we play 1st and 2nd together on the 7th fret, and then 2nd string is open as we move to the 8th fret of the 1st string, and then right back to our 7th fret. Now once we hit this part, this 7th fret note here, we're going to do our first hammer-on, pull-off, triplet. So we are on the 7th fret. We're going to play that 7th fret note and move right through. 7 to 8 is a hammer-on. And then as we pull away from this 8th fret, we're ending on the 5th fret. But we're going to try to do it all as one movement so that we don't have to re-strike that string during that little hammer-on pull-off down to the 5th fret. So we play 7th, 8th, back to the 7th, hammer on to the 8th, and down to the 5th. And when you approach that, we're moving from your middle finger, ring finger, index finger will take that 5th fret note of our high E string. But once we land there, we're returning right back to that 7th fret, playing it with our 2nd string, and then we're going to slide down from our 5th to our open position. Now in that movement, the note just sort of disappears, so you don't necessarily have a landing point. We're not sliding from the 5th down to the 3rd. We're just pulling that note as we take our hand away, and our resolved note is going to be that open E string. So that whole phrase right there. We're going to start on that 7th fret intro. So this is part 4, the 4th measure where we have of our intro. We play up. Now right after we have that open high E string, we're going to start moving into our chord shapes. The chords that we are hovering around, or the chord rather that we're hovering around, is actually a C chord in your barred position. We are not going to play the barred position, however, because we need some open strings to accompany us at first. So when we go into this chord shape, your pinky finger and your ring finger, pinky finger is on the 5th fret of the 2nd string, and your ring finger is on the 5th fret of the 3rd string. And we're going to keep everything else open, but your thumb is going to play your 2nd string and 3rd string along with your thumb is on the 5th string. That's actually making this an A chord at this point because we have that low A note there. And once we play that chord, we're going to ascend through it. So we're starting with the 3rd string followed by the 2nd string. And then this will be a reach for your hand, but your index finger is going to reach all the way back to the 2nd fret of the 1st string. We're keeping these other 2 fingers in position where they are, so we're going to really stretch that, but you're going to do a pull off from the 2nd fret of the 1st string, and then we descend to finish the phrase. 2nd string, 3rd string. We're going to stay in this chord shape, play our low open A, our 3, 2, 1, and then here we're going to move into our C chord. And the only note that's changing is string number 5. First we're going to play string 2 and 3 along with an open A string, an open 5th string. Then that index finger is going to reach back again for the 2nd fret, but this time of string 5. And we're going to play that same chord shape, but we're adding a B note to it by holding down the 2nd fret of string 5, and then we resolve this right here with our index finger on the 3rd fret, and there's our C chord. Now that we're in our C chord, we're going to ascend through the C, playing string 5, 3, 2, back to 3, and then we're doing another pull off, this time 3rd fret of the high E string. We're going to play it and pull off into an open E. And then as we start to descend, 2nd string, 3rd string, we're going to restrike or replay that C chord and moving it up to a D chord. This is our 5th fret with our index finger of our 5th string, and keeping our ring finger and pinky finger right where they are, we just moved up to the 5th and 7th fret. We're going to ascend in that chord, in that D chord, play the open 3rd string, and then our last big hammer-on pull-off part. We're going to play an open E and hammer on to the 5th fret, and right away pull off into our open E again. Following that, we move to the 2nd string, and we're going to pull off from fret 7 down to 5, and then play an open 2nd string and and hammer on, open second string to the 5th fret of the second string. So that part right there, let's go through that one more time. Open E string, hammer on to the 5th fret, and back into your open position. Now move to the second string. We're going to start with the 7th fret, do a pull off down to the 5th fret. Open second string and hammer on to the 5th fret of the second string. Let's take a quick review of that little section where we have the C chord moving to the D chord in that hammer-on, pull-off section that pretty much almost ends the first part of the intro to the song. And then we're going to go back and play through the entire thing together. So let's pick it up right there on that C chord. All right, so we are with our ring finger and pinky finger on the 5th fret of the 3rd and 2nd string. We already played our open A, our B, and here we are in C. We're going to ascend in this chord, so 5th string, 3rd string, 2nd string, 3rd string, pull off 3rd fret of the 1st string to open, descend 2nd string, 3rd string, play your C chord again, and we're going to move up to our D chord. So we're up on the 5th and 7th fret. Index fingers on the 5th fret. We're going to start by playing the full chord, and then we ascend through it. So we're playing the low 5th string, 3rd string, 2nd string, back, and here it is. Open, 5th fret, 7th to 5th, 2nd string, and open 2nd string to the 5th. A lot of subtle or simple techniques that are used in this song to just make it creative. All right, but other than that, we're really hovering around an E minor chord. We eventually work our way from an A minor into a C and then into a D. So there's not a whole lot of complexity happening as far as chords go, which just makes it seem a little more challenging, or some of these interesting techniques. So we're going to go through it together, and we're going to play from the beginning, slowly, all the way to the end. And at the end of that part, I will show you how to add that harmonic that ends our phrase up on the 12th fret. But let's take it from the very beginning. 1, 2, 3, 6th string, 3rd, 2nd, 1st, 3rd time, 6th string, 3rd, 2nd, 1st. Alright, approaching that 4th one, we're going to hover, 2nd string, back to the 1st, together, descend. Together, back to the 7th to 8th. Here's your hammer-on, pull-off. Hammer-on, 7 to 8, down to the 5th, back up to the 7th along with the 2nd string, and then return to the 5th and slide right down into your open. Alright, now we're going to start to find that A minor chord shape. Ring finger and pinky finger are on the 5th fret, ring fingers on the 3rd string, pinky fingers on the 2nd string. We're going to go into that with our open A string and then ascend through the chord. Index finger reaches back, 2nd fret, pull off. Play that chord. Index finger grabs the B note on the 2nd fret, and then slide up to a C chord. Index fingers on the 3rd fret of the 5th string. Play the chord, ascend through it, pull off, 3rd fret to open, 1st string. Descend through the chord, C chord, move to D. Ascend, replay that 3rd string, and here it is. Hammer on to the 5th, 2nd string, 7 to 5, open 2nd string, back to the 5th fret. Now to play the harmonic at the end of that phrase, if you haven't experimented with a harmonic yet, there are places on the guitar that if you hover your finger right over top of the strings, or actually place your finger lightly on the strings right over top of the fret. So not slightly behind the fret like when we play a note, but actually right on top of the fret, all the way up on fret number 12. You gently lay your finger there. You don't push down on the strings to make contact with the neck. If you then pluck those strings, you get this kind of almost harp sound or a harmonic. And what is played in that last section, we play an open E string, string number 6, and then we're going to play that same picking pattern, 3, 2, 1, in a harmonic, if you want to experiment with it. Otherwise, of course, you can just play those strings open.